Hi, I'm Dom, the BCBA mom, and welcome back to my channel. You guys are in for a treat today because we have a very special guest, and her name is Nandi Nelson. Welcome, Nandi.
Hello, thanks Dom for having me.
Now, if Nandi looks familiar, that's because you've probably seen her face before. She also has a YouTube channel, and if you are a BCBA, aspiring BCBA, or you have tried to take your BCBA exam, you have probably watched her video, How to Pass My BCBA Exam on the First Try. We've all have. She actually inspired me to create my video, How I Pass on the First Try. So we both share the desire to share our resources, to share our gifts, and to disseminate the benefits of ABA. So today, this particular video, we are going to be talking about collaboration. So this is a collaboration video, for example. She is a YouTuber, I'm a YouTuber, we both are BCBAs, we both are business owners. We have collaborated in the past, actually, for an entrepreneur webinar that we'll get into a little bit later. But this video is really just to highlight the importance of collaboration and building a community in this field. So I know a lot of you are entrepreneurs, aspiring to be entrepreneurs, new in the field, whatever your desires are. I don't feel like it's going to be an easy ride unless you have somebody who has your back, who is giving you resources, who you can pour into as well as them pouring into you. And that's what we're going to get into today. So that's just my take on it so far, but we're here to hear from Nandi. Nandi, as a business owner, as a BCBA, what is your take on building a community in this field or the power of collaboration?
So I would say that building a community is extremely important. For me, I feel as though as a business owner, there's this mystery as it relates to the field of ABA, especially being that ABA entrepreneurship is something rather new in general, with just like new or like ABA companies and things like that popping up over the recent years. I should say more ABA companies popping up. There is a bit of a mystery of how do you navigate, getting clients, and how do you navigate insurance, and how do you navigate keeping up with your practice and scaling your practice and being ethical within your practice. So I think that with all that being said, it's super important to collaborate, not only for you to have a better understanding as to how to operate within your practice, but also because you never really know what other resources someone else could have that could help you within your business.
That is very true. I remember the very first time we met, Nandi reached out to me. We were friends on Instagram and Facebook. So she reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to collab with her on an entrepreneur webinar, her alongside of two other wonderful BCBA entrepreneurs. And the very first thing so we were just getting to know each other, talking to one another, and I told her that I had a business partner. And she was like, wow, that's really cool. I'm sure it's a lot easier for you because you have two people that are collaborating and helping to build one mission. And she brought up a good point that I had never thought about before. I'm like, yeah, we do kind of have a benefit because it's two of us. We are two people working on the same goal. So yeah, that's how I got started with collaboration. Not only that, I mentioned in previous videos, I've gotten so many opportunities to speak and to pilot different programs because of collaboration offers opportunities and just building relationships within the field, and people saying, I like that skill set. I want that. I want some of that. And I'll give you some of what I have.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is how I've been able to get to the point where I am today, is just through collaboration and getting to know other people in the field. Because we say when we're practitioners, especially in like the home setting, it's so isolating. It can be the same exact way as a business owner, especially if you're, newer to entrepreneurship, or maybe you live in an area where there's not a lot of business owners. And I want to be super frank and real for a second, that there are not a lot of ABA business owners that are willing to share information or are willing to help the next person. So once I, begin to network and really find what I like to call like my village, it really helped to catapult my career as a BCBA, as well as an ABA business owner. And in the beginning, I had to most certainly invest a lot of money just to get information. And then I got to a point again where I was able to find similarities and connect with other ABA business owners that were just willing to, share information with me. And I've been willing to share information with them. And at this point in time right now, I don't have to necessarily pay for information because we built a relationship where we're just here to help each other. We want to see each other win and be the best that we can. So when I hear that some of them are expanding their practices, I'm like, yes, you're going to take over the world. I can't wait. I'm coming to visit. I want to see how you do things. And understanding that, it's okay for us all to be great. And, no matter what you do in business, whether it's ABA or, a corner store, a nail salon, a hair salon, whatever the case may be, there's enough out here for us all. So there's no need to have that crab in a bucket mentality, because like literally we all can win, we all can thrive. And I think that when you build that community and village where literally everyone is genuinely happy for each other, then that just makes for a more fruitful and wonderful collaborative experience.
I totally agree with you. So I have a question for you. What are some of the qualities or characteristics that you look for when seeking out a collaboration opportunity? Do you look for people who have different skill sets than you? Do you look for people who are more experienced in that field? What does that look like for you?
For me, I think it's a mixture, and it really depends upon like what exactly are we collaborating on. Like say, for example, for the webinar that, we collaborated on, as well as two other wonderful BCBAs who are in my village.
I appreciate you sharing your village with me, by the way.
You're welcome. I love those girls. Like, oh my gosh, I love them. Including you.
Shout out to Vanessa and Nikki.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so I think that like, for example, for that, I thought it was really important for that particular webinar to have diversification. So it was important for me to tap into different resources that brought that. So like, I was somewhat in the beginning-ish of my entrepreneur journey and a solo entrepreneur where, one of the BCBAs had a really fruitful center-based model and was looking into expansion. Another one was doing center-based, home-based, as well as school contracts, as well as looking into other aspects of using ABA in other settings, and a daycare-based ABA program. And then you are in a collaborative joint partnership. So I think that even though we are all in different spaces and may have various expertise or experience in other areas, I thought it was really important for those that were going to be attending the webinar to see the vast experience in us all, and variety of our experiences, and to see that no matter where you are within your journey, something of this, a point of this webinar could be impactful or beneficial for you. So I think when I'm thinking of like collaboration in general, sometimes it may be that I'm looking for personally myself to further a skill set. So then in that case, I may tap into someone who may be a little bit more experienced than me. So, for example, at my company, I have a mentor, and
I was gonna say more like a mentor.
Yeah. So she's a doctoral she's a doctoral BCBA, and I know she has more experience than me, and she has certain skill sets and expertise in areas that I don't have. So in that case, I tap into her for myself and my team of BCBAs, as well as for my company, to help us develop and expand. However, there may be times where I tap into someone that has a skill set totally outside of behavior analysis. And again, it would depend upon what it is that I'm doing as it relates to who I may tap into as a resource or as a support.
Okay, that actually brings me to my next question. Just a little humble brag for Nandi a little bit. She has multiple credentials. She is a licensed social worker as well as a BCBA. So my question for you, we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about building a community. And one thing that we always claim to do as BCBAs is continuity of care. How important do you think that is across disciplines, not just within the BCBA field?
Yeah, I think that that is something that is extremely important. I feel as though oftentimes, even myself, I feel like I've suffered from this like super woman mentality of thinking, oh, you know, I'm a BCBA and I'm a clinical social worker, so like I can handle this, or, you know, I've been trained in this area, or I know we can address this with behavior analysis. But I think that it's important as well to really understand like your lane and your scope of practice. So I think that that's where collaboration and coordination of care really comes into play, because like, although as BCBAs, we can help with like speech development and fine motor skills and all that, and activities of daily living, all that stuff, some of us, I should say, not all of us, some of us being myself, we may not have had explicit training on like speech development. We may not have had explicit training on, you know, like the inner workings of joints and bones and all that stuff. So I think that that is really where some of those opportunities to coordinate care are really important for the further development of our clients and those that we service. Because like I said, I myself have suffered from, you know, thinking, oh, okay, I know how to do this. And I may know an effective intervention, but again, someone else may be a better fit to take lead on this particular matter. And I just, you know, follow through with what they're telling me as, what they're telling me is as impactful and effective with this particular client that I'm serving.
No, I totally agree with that. For example, a lot of our clients may also see a psychiatrist. Not fluent on psychotropic meds. I've had encounters with them, and I've seen the behaviors that it can be correlated with, but I can't advise you on medication. I can't advise you on like something that's really come across my path a lot lately is counseling.
Yeah.
And I feel a calling to counseling. I love ABA, but I know that that's not my end all be all. I know that's not my final purpose in life. I feel like it is for marriage counseling or family counseling. And I feel like I want to collaborate with that discipline as soon as possible, just so I can further help my client. I feel like I will be more packed with so many more skills if I can tap into that. I also have a psychology background. I also have a Christian background. So I just want to be like, have all these tools to just like.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that like for me being a licensed clinical social worker as well, when a lot of parents see that, they automatically think that I will engage in those types of discussions. And for me, that can be really difficult because I have to remind myself that yes, you know, it's like BCBAs, we have parent training, parent support, and all of that. So for me, it's a very, very delicate fine line of like, yes, I hear you, I'm here to support you, but I am not your therapist. And a lot of parents get excited because they're like, oh my goodness, you know, you're a behavior analyst and you're a social worker, so I can, you know, redirect the conversation about my child and start talking about, you know, different things in my marriage or my relationship, or things that are going on in court, or things that, you know, or going on personally with family members and my family either being accepting or not accepting, and what can I do, and how do I have my husband or my wife be more involved? And I'm like,
oh, layered, right? It's behavior.
I'm like, yeah, so, and it gets really tricky, and they're looking at me like, well, you're my therapist, and I'm like, I'm not. So, or, you know, and that's where the referral comes into play, or like, you know, suggesting that they may go and speak with someone, or, you know, I can help them to navigate finding an appropriate therapist that can help with whatever situation that they had. But I feel like the convenience is there, like, oh, I'm comfortable with her. She knows me. She's been in my house. She knows my family. So let me just give it all. And I'm like, no, I have a certain role while I'm here.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because I know before the interview even started, we were talking about that superwoman or strong woman complex, where it's like people dump stuff onto us because we're strong, because we are brilliant, and because we just take it. And so we're like, oh, I want to help in this area. I want to do this and do that. But we are collaborating, but we are also building a community. So we should have a community of counseling professionals that we can refer them to, that we know that they're going to fit and meet the needs of that client. And that's the real importance of building that community. You don't have to be the person that saves everybody.
Right.
You have a great, strong, and powerful community.
And I think that also goes back to like the networking and understanding like what are the resources that are out there, because again, we often stay just within ABA and don't go outside and don't learn what, you know, what is it that other people are doing? What is it that are some of the services that our clients may be eligible for, or could really like benefit from? And I don't know why that is the case. Because my, you know, my master's is in social work, I kind of was trained to have that collaborative model and to know, you know, to stay in my lane, even though sometimes I'm like, oh, I can do that. And I'm like, no, that's not your role. So I think that the more that we start to really explore, you know, other professions like social work or psychology, I don't know if it's because of the mentalistic viewpoint of that, which is why we're like, no, we can't collaborate. But we have to understand that, you know, families have multiple layers, and sometimes what we can offer is not, you know, what they're needing at that time, or they may need a lot more than what we're able to offer. And that may require us to go out and see what resources are in the community or what other providers can do to support them.
Excellent. So you mentioned earlier in the video that you probably wouldn't be where you are today in your entrepreneur journey. And I know I can say the same thing. If it weren't for collaboration and building a community of just strong clinicians around you, within, across the field, however you want to say that. I have a lot of viewers who really, really want more foundation and more skills that they can apply to their entrepreneur business, or they're trying to start a business and they have just tons of questions. I'm trying to build the foundation first before I just dive into that. And you do a really great job with that. Nandi also has an entrepreneur workshop that was sold out this past weekend. So hopefully she'll have that video available for you guys if you want to go back and watch it, purchase it. It was, trust me, you're going to want to invest in that. But is there anything that you can leave with our viewers now? Maybe 3 takeaways from your webinar on how to build a really sound foundation in your entrepreneur ABA business.
I think the first piece is, and I hate to say this because sometimes I hate when people say it to me, is like really doing your research and thoroughly knowing what you're getting yourself into. Because I don't think that, I mean, I'll speak personally. I did not know what I was really getting myself into when I thought, you know what, let me just start my own ABA company. And then after I was fully in it, I was like, okay, so, all right, this is it. So I would say just like really understanding, one, like your why, and when you're doing your research, really gaining that, because you will need that as you progress through your journey, because it'll be very difficult at times and you'll want to stop, you'll want to quit, you'll want to just, you know, somebody else take this over because I just can't do it anymore. And I think that when you do your research, you have a better idea as to really what you're getting yourself into, because on the outside looking in, it looks all glitzy and glamorous and wow, I'm the clinical director, wow, I'm the CEO, but like a lot comes with those titles. And it's important to know as best as you can kind of what you're getting yourself into. Obviously, there will be things that you don't know just in general, but if you know your why and you do your research on the front end, I think that is one tip, like a combined tip. I think
why. I think that's so important in ABA, in life. Know the function before you insert the intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the second piece is really understanding like the functions and inner workings of like what it means to have a business, and what are the components necessary aside in any business, like aside from being an ABA based business, what is needed in order for a company or an organization to function. So I think, gathering additional information surrounding that as it relates to like those people that you'll need in those positions, when is it going to be appropriate or, a good opportunity for me to hire people, or for me to bring on new clients, things like that. So I think really that goes into like somewhat of a strategic planning or like a business planning, depending upon where you're at. Just so again, you know what you need as like a foundation for your business to survive. Because for me, I didn't go into much detail. So at times it felt like I was kind of winging it or working counterproductively because I already had started something and realized I missed the step. So I had to go back and figure it out. And then maybe going back and figuring it out is making people a little bit upset or irritated with you because it's feeling like these constant changes, and it's these constant changes because something's maybe not well thought out. So I think even like really strategically planning, really thinking things through will help you to be more proactive and more efficient and productive. And the third, I think, is like the theme of this, discussion with us today is like the collaboration and building your village, right? Because you can't do this alone. You may have like a village in your family, your significant other, friends, but they don't understand. Like if someone is not a business owner and like not responsible for other people, especially when you hire and like responsible for people's livelihoods and don't understand ABA, it's going to be difficult to really explain to them like what is going on, why you're upset, or why you're happy, or why you need certain things and why you don't need certain things, or why certain things are can work for your company and won't work depending upon the type of service you provide. So I think that when you're able to build that community and build that village, then you have that safe space of people that know exactly what you mean when you're tired and you work long hours and you got, you had to deal with some aggression. So you're just like over it and,
And then like doing notes over in the side.
Yes.
Notes. Everywhere you go.
Yes. My fiance always
tells me. Your trunk is full with toys. Clients.
Right. I always tell people like, don't look in my trunk. I'm not like a creepy person. I don't like take kids. I swear. I don't take
kids. Somebody asked me that. They were like, do you have a lot of kids? It's like, don't judge me, okay? I'm just trying to make it.
But no. But yeah, so I think like that collaboration is big. I don't, think I'll be where I am today if I didn't have, those BCBAs in my village. Because literally, I'll text them at any point in time at night or throughout the day, or if I see them on Instagram, do a quick DM slide, or like, hey, can we talk at 9? Or hey, I have a question. Can you help me? Or I need this. Do you have that? Or an audit is coming up. I'm not really sure what that looks like. Can you help me? And they're like, oh yeah, I did that. Or oh yeah, do this. Or hey, did you know that this, with the coronavirus and everything, did you know that this grant was coming out? Or hey, go to this website for this or that. So, and I do the same.
Or what are you using for telehealth?
Yep.
That going. We talked about that. We collaborated on that.
Yeah. Even too with the PPE stuff. One of my people in my village had a connection. I could not get anything. So she was like, let me know what you need. I got you. Okay, this is what I need. So it's like the things like that, I would have been SOL. So I think that,
Yeah.
and it goes beyond just the general, I needs. It's just helpful just to have someone who understands that, what you're going through, and that you can just talk to, and, everyone is so down to earth and so helpful and loving that also just makes it even more worthwhile to continue to invest in the relationship. And I think, again, a big piece is like not only building a village or collaborating to ask, but also having like
something
genuine,
to give.
yeah, and like being genuine with your intentions. Like, I don't want to, someone can pick up like, okay, you always calling to ask me something, or and again, sometimes that is what it is. And but we have that understanding that like, we also just have a genuine relationship. So when it's a call to ask, it's not like, here she is again, asking another question. It's like, oh yeah, girl, yes, I got you, because I want to see you win. Whether or not, we talk every day or every other week or once a month, once a year, whatever the case may be. So that's always great too. So that's my third tip: collaboration and networking and building that village.
That is such great tips. And speaking of collaboration and networking, Nandi and I both are inviting you into our networking unit, into our social circles, and all you have to do is subscribe. So subscribe to Dom the BCBA Mom, subscribe to Social Behavior.
So Social Behavior Learning is my company account.
Okay.
But where I do more of my entrepreneurial things as a BCBA, that would be at Nandi Nelson.
At Nandi Nelson. At Nandi Nelson. So go and subscribe to that as well, because we know the importance of just sharing resources. We know the importance of building a community, especially for people who look like us. So we want to see you guys win as well. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am so excited that Nandi was able to join us. This is just like, I'm so happy that I met you. We've never actually physically met. Nandi is in New Jersey, and I'm in Chicago. And like every time we meet, we're like, wait, at what time? Mm-hmm. Your time or my time? But I'm just so blessed to have met you. You are just an inspiration for me. You're also a doctoral student. And I'm just like living vicariously through you, because I'm not ready for that yet. But I'm proud of your journey. She's doing all of this, and she's not even 31.
I'm not 30 yet.
And you're not even 30 yet. So I know we have a lot of viewers who are young in the field, young Black women. Guys, like, ain't no stopping us. We got you. We are all in this, period. We're in this together. So that's all that we have for you today, guys. Bye. Thank you, Nandi.
Thanks for having me, Dom. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Uh-oh. I think I have to, no, wait. That's not true.
You have to push pause or